Good morning, folks. Welcome back to another video. This is Don at Affordable Desert Living. And if you're new to this channel, I'm a 67-year-old retired guy who retired in beautiful Cochise County, Arizona on my own 4 acres. So in today's video, I'm going to show you folks what happens when you go away from your property for a week. I ended up having some intruders on my property. I was really not happy. The other thing I wasn't impressed with is, see all the mulch that covers the pond liner at the edge of the pond to make it look nice? The mule deer coming and going and scuffing around knocked all that aside, knocked some rocks off the ledge where they're supposed to be. And it's not just the chugging of water. I mean, I did see them here at one point before I went away, and there was like 7 of them. And this young one was standing down in the pond, and the sharp hooves ripped my rock on a roll liner here. So I really don't have anything against mule deer. They're beautiful animals. When I first saw them in my yard, I thought, oh, that is really cool. But yet I know deer, and they're opportunists. Now, lest anyone think, well, Don, it's a desert area, resenting them because of their water usage is just kind of mean. Actually, there's a wash that as the mule deer runs is only, goodness, 5-10 minutes away, and right now there's no end to water in it, and so they can get a drink. Also, the neighbors just across the road, they put out water for them as well, so they're well taken care of in this area. I just don't need them in my yard causing destruction. So they got my little desert willow too, chomped it all down to practically nothing. So the beauty of this beautiful little tree with its orchid-like blooms is temporarily disabled right now. But as you can see, folks, it's been a week now since I've been away and came back to this being all chomped to pieces. But it's already getting new growth. And I'm going to cross my fingers and hope I'll still get some blooms before the end of the year. And that would be great, because it's such a beautiful little tree. And I could spend my time being really grumpy at the deer, but the reality is that since there's still more growing to do this year, and the monsoons are here, then what's going to happen is this tree is going to get thicker and stronger, just because of the pruning, quote-unquote pruning, by the deer. So I'm going to have to think of ways to keep these graceful marauders out of my yard. Ash-throated flycatchers actually use birdhouses when they're available, and the great thing is I put one up this year just for them, and they used it. How cool is that? And here the male's looking on, giving his approval. So this is kind of funny, actually. One of my neighbors said, okay, Don, you're getting all set up to connect with aliens and extraterrestrials. And yeah, not quite. I'll tell you what's going on. This is actually wire to keep out, yes, you guessed it, mule deer and other predators. And this top section here is shade cloth, and I'll tell you a little bit about that and why I've got shade cloth on here. So these ultra cool plants are Paulownia or empress trees. Now they are from Asia, but this particular variety is legal to plant in the United States, and they're an amazing, amazing tree. This is Paulownia arctica, meaning that it can withstand really cold temperatures down to, I think, -17 or so. They even grow them in Romania, of all places. So although, folks, I would prefer to plant desert natives here, the reality is practically everything is super slow growing. Understandably, they have to establish a root system like a mesquite tree does that goes way down deep and is absolutely brilliant at extracting any bit of moisture to survive. Okay? So with the Paulownias, I do have to water them, okay? That's part of it, and I have to budget for that amount of water I'm using on them. But the beauty of these guys is this. Once established, if they take and do well, the growth rate is absolutely insane. I mean, we're talking in 3 years, they're over 20 feet tall and still growing. So I'm babying them a lot, hoping they'll do okay, because I've always had this dream of having this little mini forest in my yard with things all tropical looking and jungle-like. The other thing I really love about these Empress or Paulownia trees is after a couple, 3 years, they start blooming. So I have these great big giant clusters of perfumey blooms that happen before the leaves even come out. They've only been planted a week and they're doing really, really well. But all that to say, really fun tree to have, and I find myself babying them a lot. I hope that works and they thrive here. So before I go into a lot of research as to how to keep pesky mule deer away from my plants and shrubs and away from my pond where they chug way too much water, as I said, they've got water elsewhere. I'd like to hear from you, especially for folks who've dealt with that species. And there's going to be a lot of folks from back east, so even tips that you had keeping white-tailed deer away might be helpful as well. So leave those in the comments below. Well, if you notice, the sky is really dark and kind of ominous looking, so that's great. That means that hopefully this afternoon we'll get some more rain. The more rain means the more free water for me. So thanks so much for watching this video, folks. If you haven't subscribed, lots of videos coming up. And also ring the notification bell thing. That'll let you know when the next video is coming. And I really appreciate everyone being here, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks a lot.